Hola ustedes, Jay here. The 3D Mario series has been a big staple of Mario as a franchise. There have been many 3D Mario games over the span of just 24 years. Because the series has been going on for so long, it's always fun to look at the differences between the then, what the heck am I looking at, and the now.
What? Oh my gosh, it's way too real. What the heck?
So today I thought it would be interesting to compare and contrast the first 3D Mario game, Super Mario 64, to the latest, Super Mario Odyssey, just to see how far their game making has gotten as opposed to 1996. So, let's go! The year is 1996, and the Nintendo 64 is about to be released in late June, along with launch titles such as Super Mario 64. The console is pretty revolutionary, bringing 3D games to the table, and with that, making a new Mario game would be difficult. What was created would have to set the standard, and it wouldn't be easy to bring the side-scrolling Mario we all love into the world of a third dimension. But that's what they did, and they did it well. For the first 3D Mario game, Nintendo did a fantastic job, but before we get more in depth, let's travel to the future. The year is 2017, more than 20 years after Super Mario 64, and a new Mario game is about to be released. Its name? Super Mario Odyssey. This is after all the games such as Super Mario Galaxy and 3D World have been released, so there have already been many great 3D Mario games before it. This is the latest 3D Mario game. Enough story time. For this comparison, I'm going to separate it into a few groups: graphics and sound, levels, story, controls, and generally how fun it is to play and such. Obviously, starting with Super Mario 64. Who could ever forget this game with its legendary story that Princess Peach sends Mario a letter for him to come to the castle to get some cake. While there, he finds out that everyone and the Power Stars were put in the walls by Bowser, and Mario has to travel into the paintings of the castle, which take him to different worlds. And in order for Mario to make it to different areas of the castle, he has to collect different Power Stars from missions inside the levels. But what Nintendo did, instead of going for a linear game, you can collect any Power Stars that you're able to. If I'm honest, it's not the best story, but if I'm being personal, I love all of this. It's so well thought out and works really well for the game. It's very cool to jump into the paintings and be able to collect any stars. The open world-like world worked wonders for this game. I love it! Along with that, Mario gets to fight Bowser 3 times, each time allowing him to get to another floor of the castle. The way they handled this was a brilliant way to go about the castle. It's no doubt that the story for Super Mario 64 was great, but let's now take a look down the time machine to see what Nintendo thought of this time around. So this time, the game starts with Mario already fighting Bowser and getting thrown overboard of his ship, getting his hat torn into pieces as well. Then Mario meets his new companion, Cappy, a citizen of the Hat Kingdom, who grants Mario the ability to capture enemies. Bowser took Cappy's sister and Peach and has the intent to marry her, and Mario and Cappy need to follow him. In order to do that, they will need a ship. This ship is powered by power moons, and so in each kingdom, Mario needs to get new moons to power the ship. While doing this, the Broodals, this game's bad guys, try to stop them. Whoa, is that a crap ton of story and information? Sorry about the spoilers for the people watching it in 1996. I don't really have an opinion on which I think is better. They both work very well for their own games, but I do have to say that Odyssey is just filled to the brim with story and information. I honestly like the simplicity of, hey, you're Mario, go find some stars. But at the same time, Odyssey is the same thing, just grab moons this time, but it's on a much bigger scale. So I love both of these games' stories and where they take place. One for its simplicity and one for bringing back the simplicity but adding on top of it, and it works amazingly for both games. Graphics. This and level design will have the most drastic differences, so let's check this out. Before we do that, note that I am playing on emulator, and on an actual console, it would look more like this. Because of restrictions of the hardware of the Nintendo 64, they couldn't have many polygons on screen, so Mario and all the models, including the level, all look very blocky. It's almost Minecraft. Again, because of the hardware at the time, all the textures look pretty bad and didn't age very well. But I feel like this old, bad textured and low poly look makes it Super Mario 64. But it isn't bad. For the time, this was actually really good, but just moving Mario too far away, and we see some old Nintendo 64 in the works. So basically, there was a lower poly model of Mario to keep the game running smoothly. Along with models, some of the objects that even Mario interacts with are just 2D images that face towards the camera. Once again, it's not bad, But, okay, if we take a look at Super Mario Odyssey, oh my gosh, there are more than 2 pixels now! Just taking a quick look at this game, and you can tell that they aren't using solid colors for Mario's overalls no more. Look, that actually looks like denim! So obviously, the graphics in this game are great. There are so many polygons, and the textures are all amazing. Every single detail is perfectly looked at and made great. They didn't cheap out on anything. You can tell that they put a lot of work into this game. Everything is beautiful. The water, the grass, Mario's hair, reflections, it's all there. And it's all pretty. Every detail. The lighting, the shadows, oh. Super Mario 64 may have that retro kind of feel, but Super Mario Odyssey is something else. And so if I were giving points, it would have to go to Odyssey. It is so stunning how realistic this game looks the first time you open up the game. We're going to go straight to sound now. Sound is an interesting one. If we were looking entirely at music, it would have to be Super Mario 64 with its wonderful and peaceful tracks, while also at times easily being able to make me feel how I'm supposed to feel, with Dire Docks making me feel very relaxed, while the slider theme makes me feel like I'm supposed to hurry. Personally, I feel Super Mario Odyssey is kind of missing that extreme delicate care. Don't get me wrong, the music in this game is extraordinary, but I don't know, it may just be the nostalgia getting to me, but I kinda like Super Mario 64's music better. I love the simplicity of it while still sounding beautiful. Even though Super Mario Odyssey used freaking actual utensils for Luncheon Kingdom, I still like Super Mario 64's music a bit better. But I'm also going to check other sounds such as the ambient sounds, and Super Mario Odyssey is filled with sounds everywhere. I love it so much! Everything sounds amazing. The splashing of Mario's wet shoes, the sounds of water, everything is very impressive. While the most we get in Super Mario 64 is the sound of Mario taking steps, Goombas walking, and this. Can you believe we haven't discussed the level design yet? You know what? I don't want to talk about it yet. Gameplay! How fun are these games to play? Both of these games are very fun, and each are very simple and easy to get into, despite Odyssey being a bit more complicated. You can be anybody, gamer or non-gamer, and still find these games fun and easy to get into. A little more for Odyssey because it gives the player a hand to hold on, and you aren't just plopped at a castle and told, hey, get the stars. Super Mario Odyssey feels like it was meant to allow the player to do whatever they want and get wherever they want. Mario's controls allow for so many movement options, and it is very, very fun to play and feels amazing to control. The same can easily be said for Super Mario 64. It's probably the reason that it is one of the most popular speed games. In Super Mario 64, Mario feels so freaking amazing to control. Everything is so fluid and makes sense, and it just feels so good. Every moon in Super Mario Odyssey feels fun to collect and has its own challenge. None of them feel like filler. It is really fun to explore in Super Mario Odyssey because there is so much to do. There is never just one moon to grab. While in Super Mario 64, the game is actually less linear as a full-on game. But as just each level, it's more linear, because you get a mission that you have to do. Of course, while doing this, you can grab any other stars on the way, which is fun. And unlike Odyssey, you can go through any door to a level as long as you have enough stars. You get to choose which levels to go to. Both of these games are so much fun to play, have amazing controls, and really feel pretty open. It feels like I'm making the decisions in both games. But it's funny to see that Nintendo went for more of a linear approach to the order that the levels are played. It would have been much cooler to be able to pick and choose which places to go to. But it makes sense because you're just trying to get to Bowser and these kingdoms are pit stops. Is this episode over yet? I really want to go make some levels in Super Mario Maker for the Nintendo 3DS wait levels. So I've been waiting long enough. Whoa, for one of the most acclaimed games ever, I kind of expected more. Once again, due to limitations, the level design couldn't be everything. Everything looks very blocky and the levels are usually pretty small, which is fine, it doesn't really take anything away from the game, but my gosh, this is kinda boring. There isn't really anything very interesting about a bomb on battlefield or a lethal lava lamp. The level design in Super Mario 64 doesn't really hold up to today's standards anymore. It's all really just simple blocks. But once again, I'll say that's what gives Super Mario 64 its own feel. But, taking a look at Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo were able to pretty much do whatever they wanted. There weren't many limitations and the kingdoms show that. There is so much detail and creativity in every kingdom. No kingdom feels like another. And the kingdoms are huge. It's still so crazy how much crap they're able to cram into such a small little cartridge compared to the huge cartridges of 1996. And that's it. In conclusion, both of these games are equally fun to play, but when it comes to everything else besides gameplay alone, Super Mario 64 is very outdated, while Super Mario Odyssey is really vibrant and shows what new hardware is capable of. It looks amazing and has so many great levels, and every single detail looks like it was cared about. Super Mario Odyssey is definitely the perfect Mario game, has everything a Mario game would need and is so detailed, but we can never forget where the series began. Have an amazing day. Adios.